From this moment forward, the only mission of the newly restored Department of War is this: warfighting, preparing for war and preparing to win.
After summoning hundreds of US generals and admirals from across the world to Quantico, Virginia, September 30th, Pete Hegseth's instructional lecture on the warrior ethos would have had more credibility if the Defense Secretary also gave them more and better weapons to fight with.
Standards must be uniform, gender neutral, and high.
What is surely remarkable is that this message about military culture probably did need to be delivered.
For too long, we've promoted too many uniformed leaders for the wrong reasons. Based on their race, based on gender quotas, based on historic so-called firsts. We became the woke department.
Elevating such concerns directly to the military top brass is a prerogative of civilian military control. And speaking in our Potomac Watch podcast, editorial board member Kate Batchelder Odell says Mr. Hegseth is tapping into something that Americans will welcome.
He has correctly identified that a substantial portion of the country is concerned that the military's grand tradition of merit has fallen out of fashion over the past 10 years, and he wants to restore that. And he also, I think, is hitting on a potent theme when he talks about turning the military back into an elite institution that people must work and strive to be part of.
During his speech, Mr. Hegseth announced 10 new directives focusing on combat readiness.
When it comes to any job that requires physical power to perform in combat, those physical standards must be high and gender neutral. If women can make it, excellent. If not, it is what it is. If that means no women qualify for some combat jobs, so be it. It will also mean that weak men won't qualify because we're not playing games. This is combat. This is life or death.
Mr. Hegseth also wants to bring back grooming standards, likening his approach to the broken windows criminology theory, which puts forward the idea that by dealing with a minor crime, say a graffiti, quickly and efficiently, you stop a neighborhood succumbing to more serious crime.
We're going to cut our hair, shave our beards, and adhere to standards. Because it's like the broken windows theory of policing. It's like when you let the small stuff go, the big stuff eventually goes.
One of the directives that's received little media coverage and is of particular importance to military families is Mr. Hegseth's announcement of an overhaul to the process for reporting complaints to the Pentagon Inspector General.
This process has basically allowed individual sailors or other disgruntled employees to lodge complaints about their superiors, about their commanding officers, even if these are not based in anything credible. Sometimes an investigation can go on, can hold up you from getting new orders, can derail your career that way.
I call it the no more walking on eggshells policy. No more frivolous complaints, no more anonymous complaints, no more repeat complainants, no more smearing reputations, no more endless waiting, no more legal limbo, no more sidetracking careers.
Another good move is changing personnel records so that those who make an honest mistake don't find themselves in a situation where their career is over.
John Lehman, the Navy Secretary under Ronald Reagan, has said to me and others that none of the fleet admirals who won World War II could make it past lieutenant in today's United States Navy.
People make honest mistakes, and our mistakes should not define an entire career. Otherwise, we only try not to make mistakes, and that's not the business we're in. We need risk takers and aggressive leaders, and a culture that supports you.
Where Mr. Hegseth and his boss in the White House are less credible is giving these warriors what they need to win the next war. Mr. Hegseth suggested that the Trump administration was delivering.
Our job is to make sure you have the money, equipment, weapons, and parts to train and maintain, and then you take it from there.
Mr. Hegseth also suggested that US allies weren't pulling their weight.
America cannot do everything.
But EU defense spending has increased, granted in part thanks to a push from Mr. Trump. And in June, NATO leaders agreed to increase defense spending to 5% of GDP by 2035.
We have to make sure that we can defend ourselves, and that is why we are doing this.
Here in the US, Mr. Trump's target appears to be a mere 3% of GDP, which isn't nearly enough to provide the means for warriors to prevail. That is, unless the US surrenders its strategic interests before a war has even started.
The Trump administration seems to be going in a very new direction that elevates our own hemisphere and the homeland, and puts further down on the list China, which seems to me a big mistake and will mean smaller military forces, fewer forward deployments in Europe and Asia, places where we fight forward so that we don't have to fight closer to home. So this resource and strategy mismatch is really troubling, given the otherwise welcome rhetoric of the speech.
The nature of the threats we face in our hemisphere and in deterring China is another speech for another day, coming soon.